Good morning, monkeys. Welcome to another episode of our RCT Classic Scenario series here at Coaster Monkey Studios. And in this episode, we are going to start our next scenario, which is Leafy Lake. And in this episode, for this scenario, we've got to have at least 500 guests in our park by October year 3 with a park rating of at least 600. Simple, right? You'd be surprised. There is a point where you could run into a little bit of a challenge there. But for those of you just joining this series for the first time, this is basically a scenario series for RCT Classic. And what we're going to be doing in every episode is working towards fulfilling the goal set by the scenario. And then once that goal is set, we are going to continue to build in a thematic way, whether it be based on a theme within that particular scenario. Like in the last episode, we did a specifically budget-based park, amusement park scenario, or a thematic feel to it. Very reminiscent of a Blackpool Pleasure Beach, or like a Luna Park in Gold Coast, Australia, or in Brooklyn, New York, or even like an Indiana Beach here in the States. But for this episode, we are at Leafy Lake. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a lakeside amusement park. Very similar to the lake that I built in the original, very first RCT Classic series that I did, where we built our own scenario and had this lake. And I'm going to create a little lakeside amusement park that wraps all the way around the lake. We're going to have fun stuff within the lake, and then we're going to go behind the lake and build some stuff out there. So here I am building out the initial building for our lakeside amusement park, and I kind of just built out what I wanted the footprint to look like. I love having a deck outside of a building on the side of, the lake. We're going to do this again later on in the episodes. I think not the next episode, but the episode after. We're going to build an additional one of these, and it's going to be a restaurant on the lake, which will be fun. A very pier side, and that's what I wanted this to feel like. I think of Sandusky, Ohio, where Cedar Point is, and I think about the way that, on this peninsula, and you're looking at Lake Michigan, you've got all this great stuff built out around it. I'm thinking about even building like some sort of like a beach side, which we're going to do in a little bit, and you'll kind of see what that looks like. But in due time, I'm going to let the camera roll for a little bit here so you kind of see what's going on, and I will jump back in when things get exciting. Check you guys in a bit. Before I leave you guys really quickly, I want to just show you what I'm doing here. I'm closing off the pathway for the rest of the lake all the way around, and I'm deleting all of the pathway, not only to get the revenue back in so we can build more attractions and theming, but to keep our guests localized. So this way, as we build around the lake, we've got control over our guests in the direction that they're going. So just a heads up there. All right, with the whole idea of the lighter theming or amusement park-esque theming, I still want to stick to that type of vibe. So you'll see in these buildings here, I create, again, my inspiration is very Luna Park, in Brooklyn. It's what I know. So this is what I'll tend to build. It's very vintage, very 1920s, turn of the century, where it's got this awesome feeling of nostalgia, and it's something that I think parks these days really do miss. They've lost that vibe, that touch of nostalgia and that vintage feel. It's definitely something I miss personally in going to an amusement park. We went with an orange and white color story for this park. So this is going to be the main colorway, and all of the buildings in the front here are going to have this colorway. And then we'll do minor shifts in feeling of each area, and you'll kind of see what I do. So it's almost like a theme park, like we would do at a theme park where you walk into different areas, but not exactly. But yeah, I love this, you know, and again, it's about this like fun symmetry. It's very wild. It's got a lot of different layers and levels and platforms. You know, if I had domes in this game, I would build domes like a wazoo, because domes were huge in this time period. You know, I think very, you know, I think of like the domes at the top of a Buddhist, not a Buddhist temple, a Hindu temple, you know, from that perspective. Just think very geometric and symmetrical, but very grand. And, you know, look at it. This is for a carousel, you know what I mean, and how grand that is. So just something to keep in mind when you're kind of building out these themes or this type of feeling for your parks. There we got an ice cream stall just holding place for our information kiosk, because we have to wait for that to be made, right? Because we're researching that. But all right, so as we wrap up this building here and kind of get this going, this turns out to be, you know, a very, again, simple building, same type of feel, but let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen this weekend on our channel. This Sunday, coming Sunday, we are going to, Coaster Monkey Studios is joining up with CJ's Crazy Coaster Crew, and we're going to be going to Six Flags Great Adventure to experience their drive-through safari for the first time since the pandemic happened. So this is going to be really cool. Can't wait to get a vlog finally in the 2020 season up on my channel. It's going to be really great. We're going to have some really, you know, fun times. We've got some cool stuff planned for you guys to kind of watch and see. So I can't wait to get that up on the channel. So excited to have that up there for you guys. And yeah, super stoked. I hope you guys, I mean, are you guys excited? I would love to hear if you guys are excited to see that. I can't wait to get stuff up on the channel pertaining to theme parks, because, you know, this is a theme park channel. I am a coaster monkey, so I'm a little bit anxious to get that done. But yeah, all right. Oh, just here really quickly on the screen, as you see, we put down our boat ride. And again, boat rides always get stuck. I like to put down the track, and I color it the same color as the water, so you don't really see the track. It's just the thing I do. Next up, our first coaster. So we're gonna see this park is it's a vintage park, right? But it's got a new coaster vibe. So I was gonna do your, you know, typical Schwarzkopf looper, and then I decided, well, what if we take the idea of a Schwarzkopf looper, and we did like in the last episode, and do a Vekoma shuttle loop. Yes, I did. I did a Vekoma shuttle loop, but this is actually really cool. I love the way this comes out. It's a really fun ride. I love the theming we do on it. Now, again, this is an amusement park. So we're going to do minimal theming from one area to the next, just by changing the style of the buildings within that area. And that's going to create an entire thematic change. Now, what I love about this particular ride is I wind up building the pathway right over and through the ride itself, which helped increase the excitement rating of this ride. But it also gives us some really cool stuff to do with our pathway and with the building that we're going to create here. Now, originally, I was going to have this be a snake ride and call it, I believe I called it Sidewinder. Was it Sidewinder? I don't remember what I named it. Or Sea Serpent, something like that. But I wound up changing that, to be honest with you. It wasn't vibing with me. and you'll see what the direction we go with the theming and stuff. But as you can see now, we're at August year 1. Now our goal is by year 3 to have 500 guests in our park by year 3 with a park rating of at least 600. So we've got to make sure that our paths stay clean. We've got to make sure that we've got security. We've got to make sure that we've got mechanics, right? All super important. And then obviously we did our 2-week marketing campaign. So with the marketing campaigns, you get more bang for your buck by doing the 2-week versus the 6-week or even the 3, 4, or 5-week marketing campaign. And this is something to keep in mind. You know, it may be a little bit more of a pain in the butt to re-administer the marketing campaign every 2 weeks, but you're getting more bang for your buck. Now, for the theming for this coaster, you know, obviously we're going to have a snake theme, but realistically, I started building out this station and I really didn't know what direction I was going to go with it. And then the idea came to me to create a, I guess you would call it like a steelworking warehouse or something to that effect. You know, that was my intention. Right, I wanted to create some type of manufacturing plant, right? That you walk up to, you walk into, you walk through, you get on the ride, you get off the ride, all inside of this building. And this is where that thematic change is going to happen from one area to the next. You'll walk through this, and as we go into the next section, right, we're going to create very minimal theming just by changing the style of buildings we're going to have in the next area, as well as the type of ride we'll have next, just following this roller coaster, or this coaster here. I totally love the way this came out. Look how cool that looks. Now for this next area here, I wanted there to be sort of like a transition point from one building to the next. This is going to be a little bit of a food outlet that the guests walk through, but what I wanted to create here was some type of something that the coaster goes through again, similar to the, the other airtime hill we have there. So as I build out the food outlet here, I'm thinking to myself, how do I keep this continual feeling going, right? So obviously put up our steel corrugated walls and then our maroon colored roof tiles with these blocks. And then I build it up from there with the mindset of knowing that I'm going to have this coaster go through something else, whatever it is, right? All right, so now we're going to move into building another food outlet here. This is going to be a larger food outlet on the opposite side, but it's going to stick to the same building theming. Now, again, I'm using the word theming loosely, right? We're using the same building style for this particular food outlet as we have in our main building and our carousel building. And I noticed there's like 9 bathrooms in this park already. I like my bathrooms. See, I do this every time too. I always wind up putting up this quarter wall, and I'm like, wow, well, you got to put a ceiling in anyway. So I come back and I do the whole ceiling. I always forget. It's just it's a thing. But I do really enjoy the way this comes out. And I like the fact that I was able to build a terrace that faces out to the lake. So imagine like this food out, you go in this restaurant, you eat, you sit down, you go up to the terrace, you have food overlooking the lake, you're sitting right by this coaster that does this loop just on the outside. I mean, it's a great photo opportunity place for us enthusiasts and YouTubers where we love to catch video and pictures of different coasters and parts of the theme park. And it gives a really great vibe and feel. And I love just the way it looks. I love the orange pop. Like, it's just so strong. It looks fantastic. This is a fun trick I just recently started doing too, where I'm putting the, I guess you can call them hedge wall, putting the hedge walls incorporated into the second, third, or fourth levels of the buildings, just to give it a little bit of extra depth. Really cool stuff there. And here we are putting in another mini food stop, super quick bathroom stop with, you know, fries and soda. You know, again, this is an amusement park, right? So you want there to be stuff to purchase at every stop, right? Unlike a theme park where you'll have like that thematic area built out. Love the way this building came out too. It just looks so cool. And again, it's just something different, right? It's a different way to build literally the same thing we've built in every other episode, right? Just a little variety. Variation. And I think I'm going to be doing the hedge walls on my buildings going forward quite often. All right, and there we have it. Look how great that looks. Our Iron Worker, that's the name of our Vekoma shuttle. Really just a great themed ride, super fun. And again, it's themed just by the building it's in. That's it, right? We didn't do anything crazy. We've got our very amusement park-esque vibing buildings here. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the second video in our series. Catch us again. This coming Thursday, we'll release our next video in this series. Or I'm sorry, this Saturday, we'll release our next video in this series. And yeah, have a great day. Coaster Monkey Studios on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. Subscribe here for more. Thanks so much, guys. Have an amazing day.